Hello, happy February, everyone. I am Jason, and you've tuned in for another episode of Superhero Deep Dive. Thank you very much for that, by the way. I've got a new show planned. I want to say a fun show, but I always say it's a fun show. But what can you do? You know, I enjoy what I'm doing. So let me get my disclaimers out, all that stuff, and then we'll get into it because this character is great, and I found something really interesting out. So the information is pulled from different sources across the internet and may or may not be completely complete, but they do give a really good insight on the current superhero. If storylines or certain things are left out that you feel is important, please reach out to me. I'll give you those details in a minute. A lot of times I will leave those out because I simply don't feel that it really builds or gives to the essence of the character, or even takes away from the essence of the character. I think that, if there's something I left out, it's either I may have missed it, not seen it, or didn't know about it, which is a less likely chance because I normally know about these things. And yeah, I just didn't feel like it really played into it. Like there's some characters that get things happen to them and then they get retconned later, so it really acts like it never happened, and I try not to include those things because all it does is confuse someone that may not know about the character, and I want you guys to be able to look into it and be like, wow, we should pick up some comic books or we should watch something in regards to this. So yeah, and I'm gonna get my cup of coffee real quick. Thank you. I normally don't slurp like that. I just wanted to make sure you guys heard me, and I have no idea if you did or not. But if you guys have any questions, comments, critiques, or requests, anything like that, I am all ears. I love hearing from you. If you're on YouTube watching my slideshow for the podcast, welcome. You can catch me on YouTube under Superhero Deep Dive. I upload new videos every Tuesday at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Please like, comment, subscribe, share. Help me grow my channel. Please help me grow my channel. I think it'd be amazing. And I do actually have conversations with my fans that write. If you want to email me directly, you can at b4itall, so b4itall at yahoo.com. And you can reach me on Twitter, Instagram, and maybe if you're lucky, you'll catch me on Twitch under Super Deep Dive. I also post superhero memes throughout the week, and I try to post a video, like a little slideshow of superhero memes on YouTube, and I also do a weekly like pro wrestling memes of the week kind of video on YouTube. So if you know anyone that's interested in that, they're good for a laugh. Alright, anyways, this week I am covering the Red She-Hulk, who is actually Elizabeth Betty Ross. That's right, that's the same Betty Ross that was Bruce Banner's love interest from the very beginning. Actually, the character was created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, and she made her first appearance in Incredible Hulk #1 as a romantic interest of the Hulk, at the time Dr. Bruce Banner. She is actually the daughter of General Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, and over the years the character has undergone multiple transformations, including the Harpy and the Red She-Hulk, who we're covering today. Betty Ross debuted in The Incredible Hulk #1 by writer Stan Lee and artist Jack Kirby. She was an on and off again supporting character in the Hulk's various series for decades, serving as his longest running love interest. In 1989, Betty Ross Banner received an entry into the official handbook of the Marvel Universe 1989. So she was made official. You know, that's kind of like getting your letter jacket in high school sports, I guess. She made it to the yearbook. Alright. Stan Lee originally portrayed Betty Ross as a strong-willed and independent-minded, yet conventionally polite woman. Mid-1980s, the Incredible Hulk writer-artist John Byrne portrayed her as more willful and confrontational. Characterizations which would remain in place during Peter David's long run as the series writer. Betty has a miscarriage in The Incredible Hulk Volume 2, number 360. Though this occurred during David's run in the series, the issue was instead written by editor Bob Harris. Peter David recalled, "The reason I refused to do it was because Betty was really losing her child to editorial fiat. It was decided by the powers that be that Betty and Bruce were not to become parents because that would make the character seem too old to the younger readers. My run on the books almost ended with that issue. I nearly walked over it. But there were so many stories I still wanted to ultimately tell that I stayed with it, even though I fumed about it for quite a while." So, on one hand, I can see to the grand scheme of storytelling, you know, you have this character that can pretty much remain timeless in The Incredible Hulk. So if you give them children, you're automatically setting a date on it. You know, you're automatically placing them in this certain age group. And even though you can tell much different stories, I guess it just wasn't what they had planned. So what can you do, right? Besides, I would imagine that if you're gamma powered, like if you're imbued with gamma radiation and you can turn into this big green monster, you should be sterile. Like, that radiation should have fried the eggs down there, you know. Those should be scrambled. There's nothing left in that. I mean, that's what I would think, at least. I could be wrong, because I've never been bathed in gamma radiation, so what do I know? I don't. In Hulk Volume 2, number 15, which was in 2009, she appears for the first time as Red She-Hulk, who was created by writer Joseph Loeb and artist Ed McGuinness. Loeb said, "We've been very careful with the creation of this character. We wanted to make sure she didn't come off as silly. My memory to the introduction to the original She-Hulk before anyone had read a page. But the character was a completely different take on the Hulk, a Hulk we'd never seen before. She-Hulk, Jen Walters, is a wonderful character. Our intention is that the Red She-Hulk will make an equally important impression on the Marvel Universe." Red She-Hulk is also present in the Chaos War and Fear itself storylines in 2010 and 2011 respectively. Red She-Hulk becomes a member of the superhero team The Defenders in the Defenders Volume 4 number 1, which was in 2011. Let's see here. The writer Matt Fraction said, "The way I write her is somewhere between Indiana Jones and Johnny Knoxville." Oh my gosh, that's just such a perfect analogy. Like, I can visualize it. And I can't think of a better description. After a lifetime of being fought over and treated like a human football, she's now 7 foot tall and 62, 52, 62 or whatever and bulletproof. She goes around leaving these Betty-shaped holes in the wall. The series was discontinued in 2012 after 12 issues. In October of 2012, as part of the Marvel Now series, Hulk was retitled Red She-Hulk starting with issue 58. And it was said that she's become convinced of a threat to humanity, which is essentially all people like her. She's conflicted over losing her own human side, and she's acting out on a large scale based on that. But the thing is, she may well be right. That's kind of crazy. Because at that time, there were a lot of gamma-powered people. You had the Incredible Hulk, you had the She-Hulk, you had a Red Hulk, you had Red She-Hulk, you had Abomination, you had the Leader, who was gamma-powered. You had Rick Jones, I think he called himself Atom Bomb or something. I could be wrong on that, but he was a blue version. You know, they had all these different Hulk gamma-powered beings, and they were saying, like, this is crazy. This is actually a serious threat to humanity. And she's part of it. So what do you do? Sorry, I had to get another sip. I should have made the slurping noise. During the Fall of the Hulk storyline, Betty Ross is revealed to have been resurrected by the Leader and MODOK at the urgings of their new ally, her father, Thunderbolt Ross, who had previously kept her body in cryonic stasis. I could not say that word. She also underwent the same process that had turned her father into the Red Hulk, which granted her superhuman physical power. The now villainous Doc Samson also helps the leader brainwash Betty into an extremely confused and aggressive state. Ross's allies, aware of his intentions to betray them, send Betty as the Red She-Hulk to help assassinate her father, who is hunting the mercenary Domino after she witnesses him transform from his human form. Their encounter ends with the Red She-Hulk kicking the Red Hulk off the Empire State Building. Now, the reason that was so important is because the Red Hulk had been terrorizing the Marvel Universe, but they were keeping his identity secret. And he was being real careful not to give his identity away. And when he transformed, so Domino, whose mutant powers are rooted in luck, for whatever reason, things just happen to go her way. So she sees him transform. She solves the mystery by, her lucky powers. So there's that. After Ross fakes his own death, Betty also appears as herself at his funeral, accompanied by a life model decoy of Glenn Talbot to constantly monitor and control her, and expresses distrust to Bruce due to his recent marriage to Kyra on Sakaar and his subsequent attack on Manhattan. During the World War Hulk storyline, after Scar, which is his son, stabs her with his sword, the Red She-Hulk reverts to her human form, exposing her true identity. Betty explains how she was brought back to life and asks that Bruce allow her to die. But when Samson arrives, Betty's anger at his betrayal transforms her back into the Red She-Hulk, thus healing her injuries. Now, once again, in control of her own mind, Betty, as the Red She-Hulk, helps Bruce, who's the Hulk, to reconcile with his son Scar. When Bruce gains the upper hand in the ensuing final battle against Ross, Betty becomes worried for her father, which, combined with her heightened aggression when transformed, leads to conflict with the original She-Hulk, who prevails. After Ross is defeated and imprisoned, Betty convinces Bruce to grant her father an opportunity for rehabilitation and redemption. In the aftermath of the leader's attempted takeover, Betty tells Bruce that they are no longer married since she was declared legally dead, and everyone else that knows that Bruce had married Kyra. I mean, it's true, you can't have everything, Bruce. Sorry, Sorry, you put your green monster away. Back in your purple sweatpants or something, I don't know. Okay, anyways. But in the last series, the Hulk family defeats Fin Fang Foom, because apparently everyone lately is beating Fin Fang Foom. Afterwards, Betty and Bruce resume their romantic relationship, but it gets shaky as Bruce becomes obsessed with regaining the power of the Hulk. Now, I am 100% behind, gender equality. I know that there are certain things that women are genetically engineered for, more so than men. And I know that men are genetically engineered for things more so than women. But man, he gets back with Betty Ross, who is still the Red She-Hulk. So she can be this massively physically imposing person, and he's still Dr. freaking Banner. I'm sure he's definitely wanting to get the Hulk back. At least to level the playing field. Alright. During the Fear Itself storyline, the Red She-Hulk traveled to Brazil along with Spider-Woman, Miss Marvel, and the Protector to fight the Hulk, who was transformed into Null, Breaker of Worlds. She later receives an enchanted Asgardian sword from Iron Man and joins the heroes in the final battle against the Serpent and his forces. After the battle, the Stark Asgardian weapons were returned to Asgard to be melted down, but the Red She-Hulk kept her sword. Because who's going to take it away from her? Seriously. If she wants the sword, let her keep the sword. Alright. Following the original Sin storyline, the Hulk persona emerges as the result of an attempt to assassinate Bruce and his efforts to save his life using the Extremis virus. This new Hulk, calling himself Doc Green, decides that gamma-powered superhumans are a threat to humanity that must be eliminated. Betty despaired of the Red She-Hulk and was cured of her insanity and her mutation by Doc Green. Although whether this will be permanent is debatable, as Banner in any form has never been able to cure himself or any gamma ray mutate to date on a permanent basis. But she realized that she has made the same mistake that Bruce had made. She had created a monster. And during the Civil War II storyline, Betty Ross was among those who learned about Bruce Banner's death and ended up mourning him at his funeral. So I'm going to get a quick sip. Alright. And that is it for her history. What do you guys think about this? Like, there's a lot to this character, and we have to realize that as far as the actual Marvel universe goes, and I'm not talking about the golden age, Marvel comics, or, timely comics that features characters that were later acquired by Marvel or transitioned to Marvel, like Captain America or the original Human Torch. Hulk was one of their original Marvel Comics heroes. So she's been in there since the beginning. This is a person that has been there since the very beginning. And for them to start manipulating the character is very odd. It's very odd, but it ended up creating a character with a lot of fanfare. So a lot of people like Red She-Hulk. Alright, but let's get into her powers. As the Red She-Hulk, Betty has enormous superhuman strength, speed, stamina, and durability, and a healing factor that allows her to easily survive what would normally be fatal injuries to humans, such as stab wounds to the leg and abdomen by Wolverine's claws. Similar to her ex-husband, Betty's strength level is so vast that it warps the laws of physics even further than standard for other characters in the same fictional continuity. For example, allowing her to punch her way through dimensional barriers between different universes. However, she has been defeated easily by the original She-Hulk, mainly due to her lack of experience. She shares the Red Hulk's ability to absorb energy, such as gamma radiation from other gamma mutates, thereby reverting those beings to human form, and at least temporarily boosting herself. According to Banner, there were plans to remove this ability through the same process that removed the Red Hulk's ability, based on the fact that this ability would eventually kill her. Also, like her father, the Red She-Hulk has yellow blood, produces yellow energy from her eyes when angry, and can discharge energy by touch. The Red She-Hulk can be returned to human form if she is suddenly startled or frightened, though she can revert to her Red She-Hulk form at will. As the Red She-Hulk, she still maintains control of her humanity, though if extremely angered she can become Pure Hulk, further increasing her strength but losing control of her mind. Dang. Alright, the Red She-Hulk carries a great sword that she affectionately calls her Big Ass Sword. The sword, forged by Tony Stark, is made of Stark Industries' repulsor technology and enchanted Uru metal from Asgard, and was first given to the Red She-Hulk during the Fear Itself storyline, along with similar weapons given to other heroes, in order to defeat Kuld the Serpent, Odin's long-forgotten brother. While the other weapons are eventually returned and melted at the end of the storyline, the Red Hulk manages to hold on to hers. The sword is later taken by a massive global machine called the Tyrannometer? Tyrannometer, we're going to say that. During the Hell Hath No Fury story arc, and is held there until the Red She-Hulk is able to stop the US government from inadvertently creating a dystopian future in which gamma-enhanced super soldiers take over the Earth. So that's her powers. That's crazy. She slowly can sap the gamma radiation from other creatures, reverting them back to human. Like, that's insane. Alright, fun facts. Alright. The Hulk in Agents of Smash. Betty is not actually a Hulk, but in the episode Days of Future Smash, the Tomorrow Smashers, a Red She-Hulk appears. The plot is that the characters visited a future where they are members of a resistance group against a villain who is taking over the world. All of the Hulk characters had a child, including Red Hulk, who had a daughter named Bets, who is the Red She-Hulk. The Red She-Hulk is a playable character in Marvel Superhero Squad Online. She's also a playable character in Marvel Avengers Alliance, debuting in Special Operation Number 32. I miss Marvel's Avengers Alliance. Like, I really wish that game was still active. The Red She-Hulk appears in LEGO's Marvel Avengers and LEGO Marvel Superheroes 2. And the Red She-Hulk is a playable character in Marvel Future Fight. So those are some. I got a few more. Betty's face, was used on Harpy robots to ensure Bruce Banner did not escape from Gamma Base after being captured post-World War Hulk. And when Red She-Hulk was first revealed, one of the few details provided was that she had some sort of connection to Domino. Yet she was seen wielding Elektra's weapon of choice, which was the Psy, and had Thunder's large muscular physique. These three characters all featured in the first issue where Red She-Hulk first appeared, and therefore added to the mystery and debate on who she really was. And I remember that, because there were guesses all over the place, especially with the Psy. Everyone thought it was going to be Elektra. And Doc Samson has noted that as the Red Harpy, Betty never speaks more than 5 or 6 words at a time. So those are some fun facts about Red She-Hulk. What do you guys think? Like, what a character, right? What a character. Let me know what you guys think. As always, if it's a Tuesday or Thursday, you can hear me throughout the day on Outworld Fleet Radio. Their web address is www.un-con-ventional.com/radio. They play a lot of music, and they also have various radio shows like mine and many others. They have one called like Cernix's Time Warp, which is awesome. But check them out if you have a chance, especially if you're at work and you can have music at your desk or something, put it on, open up a tab, load up. It's great. You can also hear me wherever you hear your favorite podcasts, except Apple Podcasts, I think. I don't think Apple carries me, and I don't know why. But that happens, and you can always catch me on YouTube under Superhero Deep Dive, and you can reach out to me on Twitter, Instagram, or Twitch, but never really Twitch, because I'm never on it. I have it, but I'm never on it. Under Super Deep Dive, use the hashtag Superhero Deep Dive. I post memes, so you can follow me. You can send me messages on there, right on my wall, comment on pictures. I don't care. I love to hear from you, and I acknowledge everyone. Even if it's just a like on the comment. Like, I had one guy, he sent me a message, or he commented on one of my videos asking for a special giveaway, and I was like, I'm going to have to work up to it, or that may be down the road. And then for like 2 or 3 other videos, he commented, is it down the road enough yet? I don't need to comment on those, I'll just like them. But he was acknowledged, or they were acknowledged, whatever you want to call it. They were acknowledged regardless, because I like my fans. Alright. Now we're going to get into power expansions, which is my absolute favorite part. This one I actually had to go and do some research on, and I found something really cool. Alright. So this one was actually a bit tricky. I had to go back and watch The Incredible Hulk and The Avengers just to make sure Betty Ross wasn't spoken for after the main events in the Hulk. Luckily for me, all the Marvel Universe did was show her looking off in the distance at the end of The Incredible Hulk. Which means that this actually opens the door for Betty Ross to return as the Red She-Hulk in the future. And I have some ways it can work out. But how do we do this? We're going to get to that. Who plays Red? I'm calling her Red Shulk, which is just short for She-Hulk. Who plays Red Shulk? Well, for casting, I don't want to do Jennifer Connelly or Liv Tyler. I just don't. They recast, Edward Norton into Mark Ruffalo. So I think we can totally get away with a new Betty. Just to help kind of, just because. But I really don't think that Liv Tyler or Jennifer Connelly, even though I think they are amazing actresses. I am a huge Jennifer Connelly fan, by the way. She's amazing. but I don't think that they can really pull off a Red She-Hulk. They could probably pull off a Betty Ross, but not a Red She-Hulk. So who can? I say, let's get Milla Jovovich. I love Milla Jovovich. She's actually one of my favorite actresses, period. I love her. I absolutely adore Milla Jovovich. She's got the action movie chops. She's got the relative age range to match Mark Ruffalo for the Hulk. And that way they can build off past romance and the friction with her father, who's General Thunderbolt Ross, who is also shown in the movies as well, because he was the one in charge of the raft that held, the heroes in prison during after Civil War. So we got casting out of the way. What do you guys think? Do you have other ideas? And remember, I want someone like they do with Mark Ruffalo, where they can actually build the CGI around them and build the character around them, but it is Mark Ruffalo playing that. I want the same thing with Milla Jovovich. I want the same thing with Red She-Hulk. Someone that can be Betty, but also can actually do some of the action stuff that and have the chops to do Red She-Hulk. But let's talk about how we bring her in. We've seen that one agent, that one person talking to U.S. Agent, the second Black Widow. It makes it look like she's making her own like Dark Avengers, right? Like her own extra team. Well, let's have her be in line with General Ross. And they took his daughter and experimented on her to make her into the Red She-Hulk. General Ross has always been really headstrong and calculating, but that's also overridden his fatherly instincts at times. So if he felt it was for the greater good, then he could have his daughter involved in the experiments. And with him there, it also opens the door for him to be the Red Hulk, which, from what I understand, they were planning on doing that down the road at some point. So, what if they're working on him, like they're doing an experiment on him, and she comes in to try to stop it, and she gets exposed to it as well and becomes a Red She-Hulk. So he's ultimately responsible for it, for her coming in and stuff like that. What if, because I don't know if I've seen anything regarding Thunderbolt Ross during the blip, during that 5-year blip. What if they were in the blip and when they came back, both of them, Betty Ross and her dad, are pissed because they find out that, the Hulk is still around. This monster that Ross hates is now a symbol for people. He can't stand that. And also, his daughter, sees him and there's no trace of him looking for her. Like, she's been forgotten about since the first movie, or since the movie. So, how would you feel if the love of your life, you actually went on this big adventure with them, and while they're trying to control themselves, they all of a sudden become a hero for humanity and stuff, and you're just forgotten about. Like, there's nothing mentioning her anywhere. All this research, and she had the brains because she helped him with research. So, there's stuff that she could have done. He just left her. So, what if she's pissed about that? Those leave perfect avenues for them to come in. And then Milla Jovovich gets to wreck shop. I'd love to see her take on people. I think it'd be amazing. What do you guys think? Like, is that a great opening? Like, Betty Ross is the one character I completely forgot about so much that I had to go and watch the movie again just to make sure she wasn't written off somewhere. And the most that she was written off is sitting, drinking a cup of coffee, staring off into the sunset. There's so much more that can be done. And as far as being one of the original characters in the Marvel Universe, maybe maybe it's time for her to get a good treatment. You know, because what else are you gonna do, right? And also, that's a potential loophole that could easily be cleared up without having to introduce new characters. People are gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, I totally forgot about the Hulk movie." And there you go. What do you guys think? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. It'd be great. Like I said, comment, like, subscribe, share on my YouTube channel. I really, really want to grow it. I really want to expand the channel. I think it'd be great. I also, love interacting with you guys. So if you guys want, check out my Instagram page or Twitter. It's under Super Deep Dive. My DMs are always open because I don't care. You can also email me directly at b4itall, so b the number 4 itall at yahoo.com. I get emails frequently for requests. In fact, I've got I think I'm booked through March, so this will be great. But I love getting some of these. But in the meantime, guys, I will catch you all later. Thank you for being on this journey with me. Thank you for being part of the Talk Nerdy to Me network. Catch my friends Chris with their podcast, Friends with Benefits. They release new episodes every Wednesday, so check them out as well wherever you hear your favorite podcast. And until next time, guys, be blessed, be happy, be safe, be smart, and if you're not smart, don't get caught. I will see you later. Bye-bye.